Well, hi, everyone. I'm Ji Moon. I'm the Associate Director of Programs at LEAP, the Center for Learning the Earth with AI and Physics. We're located at Columbia University, but we are a National Science Foundation funded science and technology center. And so while our home base and we are physically located at Columbia University, if you have taken a look at our website, we have researchers at UC Irvine. A few of them are here. NYU, University of Minnesota, the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Colorado, and Teachers College as well. And so I'll just a background. So today we'll be going over an introduction and overview of LEAP, the summer 2024 program, the application, and FAQ. So LEAP is, again, a National Science Foundation funded science and technology center that is now in year 3 of a 5-year grant. And so right now we are in our 3rd iteration of the REU program. And so we're really excited to, we've made a couple of changes over the years, and we're really excited for this upcoming year with a bit more improvements and hopefully a more robust and enriching summer experience. Our strategic vision is to revolutionize climate projections for informed climate adaptation. And our mission is to increase the reliability, utility, and reach of the climate projections through the integration of climate and data science. This next slide is a video.
We know for certain that climate is going to change over the next several decades, and so we need to understand how we're going to adapt to that.
We know that Black and Brown communities, because of legacies of structural racism and redlining and whose neighborhoods have resources, are already more vulnerable to, say, extreme weather events.
If we can have better predictions about what it's going to look like in the future, that helps us to sort of plan better today.
New York City, for instance, is making decisions about their transportation system right now. They're making decisions about seawalls right now. No one discipline can solve the complexities of the problems that we're dealing with.
LEAP is bringing together minds and capacities that simply haven't sat in the same room before.
Climate data science is bridging the expertise of climate science with the expertise and knowledge of data science and bringing them together.
Our goal is to use all the available data out there from sensors, from satellites, and to help better inform our climate models so that we can make better predictions, so that we can help everyone adapt to climate change.
If we conduct science and we're not effective at conveying our findings to decision makers, people in communities who are going to be gravely impacted by the climate crisis, then we haven't really done our job.
That's really where we see our role as a publicly available data provider, that we are trying to lower the barrier so that everyone could get access to climate data across the globe.
That's a big moonshot to improve our climate projections, but also help inform people in a way that can also shift human behavior.
What we can say is that we're heading in a direction from vulnerability to resilience, a direction from exclusion to inclusion, and LEAP, I think, is a pioneer in this kind of effort. You'll be able to look confidently in 10 years and say, we're on a path now that's fundamentally different than the path we were on before.
I've seen that video quite a few times, but every time I watch it, my heart is just kind of like, oh, yes, this is what we're doing and why we are doing what we're doing. So I don't think that I have to go too deeply into the science. I feel like the video said a decent amount, but I will share, this is just our org chart with LEAP leadership and some of the committees that we have. So we have faculty from, again, NYU, UC Irvine, Teachers College, and CAR. We also have researchers from NASA GISS. I did not mention that. And we have a partnership with a group called Carbon Plan, which is you don't need to know too much in depth right now about, but we also have two committees, the Convergence Subcommittee, the Knowledge Transfer Subcommittee, and I'm sorry, there's a third, Data and Computing Subcommittee, which is not shown on the org chart just yet, and our administrative staff at the bottom. So one of LEAP's primary education goals is to drive convergence through our education activities between climate and data science, research and education and broadening participation, and knowledge transfer. So our programs are tightly integrated with research for disciplinary convergence and to train the next generation of climate data scientists. For example, we're integrating LEAP's data infrastructure cloud platform called LEAP Pangeo, and we're using it to teach climate data science in our boot camps, our summer programs, including REU, and our workshops throughout the year. As an REU student, you'll be trained on how to use LEAP Pangeo before you have to use it to carry out the research over the summer. So we have set up a mentorship structure and learning structure for you to get trained before you actually use the platform. As alluded earlier, education and research really go hand in hand. And we're trying to ensure that you have meaningful convergent experiences through our education programs. And so even on this call today, we have a lot of our postdoc researchers, our faculty are on the call. They are deeply embedded in our programs, and the REU program would not exist without them. And the people on this call will also be co-mentors on a couple of the projects we have. So just an overview of REU. We host undergraduate researchers and offer a wide array of enrichment, learning, and networking opportunities. LEAP is committed to building a diverse research community at the intersection of climate science, data science, and climate and social justice. We care about the future of our planet, and we want to apply our research to make informed decisions when it comes to make the communities most affected by climate change. All of our students will be supported by a team of researchers and graduate student mentors. Again, some of them are here today. We want our students to make a larger impact on the world via STEM research. So upon completion of the program, students may have the opportunity to continue their research or present their findings at academic conferences. We had a few students from last summer present at AGU and AMS. And so, these are really good opportunities for, even just beyond the 10 weeks for the summer. A couple of the program elements. And so this is a summer research experience on synergistic innovations in data and climate science. You'll learn under the supervision of a team of LEAP experts. I'll go over the mentorship structure in a few slides, but for example, you'll have everyone from a Python LEAP Pangeo mentor, postdoctoral mentors, and Momentum fellows who are doctoral students in data science, and of course our lead PIs. The program is 10 weeks total in person. This way we'll give our students more time to learn and feel more confident in their ability to conduct research over the summer. But we offer a 2-week Momentum Bootcamp to develop necessary skills for an impactful research experience. We don't expect our students to have all of the, to be experts in data science or Python coming into it. But we do provide resources. So it is on our website already, a few resources. And so if you just want to go and take a sneak peek at what to expect and what you might need to know before you start the summer program, it's already available to you. But we also have our 2-week boot camp, which will be made available on Zoom to all undergraduate students. However, for LEAP REUs, you will be required to be every day in person at our Innovation Hub to learn from our boot camp instructors for 2 weeks. I promise we also have fun at LEAP other than learning. Unless you think that learning is always fun, which yes. So every Thursday we have Leap Thursday. We have things from like on-campus barbecue with other summer programs such as Columbia University Summer at Seas. We also have a partnership with the Significant Opportunities in Atmospheric Research and Science, or SOARS program at the University Corporation for Atmospheric Research. They're based out of Colorado, and within the REU cohort, there will be 1 or 2 SOARS students that will be participating alongside with you. And actually, speaking of Leap Thursday, yesterday was Leap Day, not just for us, but also for everyone else. And so we had a little Leap Day celebration, and the photo at the bottom was actually from last night's trivia night, which was led by some of our junior scientists. So that was a lot of fun. But finally, just focusing on the why for a second. As you saw in the video, climate change impacts communities and populations that might be overlooked in some areas, whether that's funding or policy related. While we are, of course, research focused, we want our students to think a little bit more intentionally about the why behind your research and where you see your academic journey going in the longer term. So this is just a brief overview of the Momentum Bootcamp for the first 2 weeks. Week 1 will be data computing and collaboration, so that students can gain skills and familiarity with the data set. This will be led by one of LEAP's postdocs, Juan Nathaniel. Week 2 will be foundations in machine learning and climate modeling, where you'll learn to apply ML to the data set that you'll be working with. This will be led by our LEAP postdoc, Candace, who was on this call, but I don't think I can see right now. And we will also have our Climate Modeling 101 workshop. This will be led by LEAP postdoc, Linnea Hawkins, who is actually based out of the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Colorado. We don't have to go too deeply into this, but this is just pre and post assessments from last year that I wanted to show, just to show, our bootcamp really does make an impact and it does help. In the beginning, we had a lot of students starting at level 1, level 2, and no one was really at level 5. In the post bootcamp survey, you can see that, there was no one that felt that they were at level 1 anymore, and a lot more that were in level 4s and 5s. Hopefully this year we see that green and gray a little bit more, so we get even more people at level 4 and 5, so they feel a lot more confident for the rest of the summer. These are just a couple of projects that came out from last year. I mean, this might not mean a lot to some people, but they started out at level 1 and they ended the summer learning all of these things that they might not have had exposure to at all before. So those learning opportunities are given to you throughout the summer. And this is the mentorship structure for this summer. So as you can see, the REU students are very much in the center, supported by an REU program coordinator. Based on the feedback from the research mentors, the fellows, and REUs last year, we've made a lot of intentional and strategic revisions to the summer programs and to focus on student success and ensure that students who might not have had these types of research opportunities feel confident and encouraged to learn over the 10 weeks. The REU program coordinator will support the students throughout the summer. This role will allow for a more streamlined communication between all of the people involved in this chart with the programs and ensure that each individual student gets the help and resources they need over the summer. So you will not be left behind if you feel that you're starting out from, an entry level. On the left, we have our bootcamp instructors, our LEAP Pangeo mentor, and our Climate Modeling 101 instructor. They are, again, all LEAP postdocs right now. We will be identifying our LEAP Pangeo mentors soon. They will be available as resources for the whole summer. The bootcamp instructors will be available primarily in the first 2 weeks to, teach you very directly but they will be available throughout the summer if you have any questions and along the way. And just so you know, they are LEAP students and postdocs, so part of LEAP's education program is to also make sure that we're giving our early career scientists more opportunities to teach and mentor themselves. And so this is bi-directional learning, both for our mentors and for yourself. And of course, we have our research mentors, project leads, and momentum fellows, our PhD students who will be regularly meeting with the students on their individual projects and providing mentorship. It might not be super clear in this diagram, but let me go to the next slide. These, I'm sure you have already seen, or I hope you have already seen, these are our 5 projects for this summer. Again, many of the mentors on the projects are on this call right now. Each project will have up to two undergraduate students and 1 Momentum Fellow PhD student. And so it'll be 5 teams of researchers, providing mentorship to each other and making sure that everyone that's involved is learning along the way and has the tools to succeed in their research for the 10 weeks. And just to go over a couple of application and deadline information. So this is also on our website, so I'm sure you have already seen. We invite students who will be a rising sophomore, junior, or senior in fall 2024 at a college or university in the US. Unfortunately, we're only able to offer admission to US citizens or permanent residents. The application requirements are there. I strongly encourage you to take a look at the application before you start working on it, just to make sure you know what to expect. If you're selected, when will I be notified about an application decision? So we anticipate notifying applicants with a decision at the end of March 2024, end of this month. It's crazy that it's March. And after that, you'll have about 1 to 2 weeks to share your decision to join the project. It's a tight turnaround, but so if you need a touch more time, please let me know. One of our, I have no programming or coding experience. Can I still apply? And this is a resounding yes. All admitted students will receive the guidance regarding on how to best prepare for the research through self-guided learning materials and of course our boot camp. To get most of the REU, to get the most out of the program, you should have some prior experience with or knowledge of coding, but all eligible students are encouraged to apply, regardless of coding and or programming background. And I do want to emphasize that this is a learning experience and you're not expected to produce a research paper or solve a problem in 10 weeks. Research takes a lot of time. And this is only one part of a long journey. We just want to expose you to what it's like to conduct research along with a group of mentors. And finally, the students who will benefit the most from the program are interested in learning about how data science skills can be applied toward climate science research. Another very frequently asked question is, can students reach out to LEAP researchers directly or submit applications directly to the project PI? That is, we do not encourage you to reach out to the project leads. A few reasons, but primarily our REU application process, review process is blinded. And so they will not have your names, they will not have your institution information. It really is purely based off of your responses, your resume, your recommendation letter. And so we are trying to level the playing field for everyone who is applying. And so to do that, we prefer you not reach out to the project leads at this stage. Some more very important information, which is also on the website. The program dates are listed. Moving into campus is on May 26th. The program officially starts on the 28th because Monday is Memorial holiday. The boot camp will run for 2 weeks until June 7th, after which the following Monday, you'll really kind of get started on, applying those skills. Final presentations will be August 1st, which is a Thursday, Leap Thursday, and then move out will be on Saturday, August 3rd. The LEAP Center is located at the Innovation Hub at Columbia University's campus. Columbia has 2 campuses, or 3, but Morningside campus is the main campus, and we're at Manhattanville campus, which is a little bit more north, just a couple of blocks north. And we are across the street from the business school, the Zuckerman Mind Institute. It's a bit more quiet, but it's also very beautiful along right along the Hudson River. And very importantly, we do offer a stipend and housing. The housing is on main campus and it's suite style with a shared kitchen. So last year we had 2 separate suites that were next to each other. And so the students took a lot of time after hours to learn from each other and help each other learn and progress in their own research. You do have a weekly stipend of $750 per week for the 10 weeks. We also offer travel support in case you need air travel to get to and from Columbia for the summer. Another very frequently asked question that I get is, can my rent off campus be covered by the housing stipend? Unfortunately, no. Our housing is just on campus. Unfortunately, we cannot cover rent if you already live in New York and already have an apartment off campus. And then there's our website and email, I'm sure, which you should already have, but I just want to make some room and some time for questions from the students that are here. Feel free to raise your hand or just unmute yourself. Does the stipend cover the boot camp weeks as well? Yes. So the 2 weeks are are part of the full 10 weeks. And so, yes, it is covered with a stipend. Any other questions?
I couldn't figure out how to raise my hand, but I'll just ask a
Oh,
question.
yeah.
I guess a couple questions. The first one you talked about, I know LEAP talks a lot about like bidirectional knowledge transfer. I was just kind of curious, like what is LEAP doing to incorporate like community voices? Because I mean that's really great, but I'm just curious, like what does that look like in practice?
So since I have Catherine here, our senior manager of communications and knowledge transfer, I can, if that's okay to put you on the spot, Catherine, I'll let her talk about it a little bit.
I was going to hide behind my profile picture for the whole time, but Raymond, yeah. So our knowledge transfer efforts are really ramping up this year. It was kind of a slow ramp up last year, which was our second year of existence. With respect to engaging community voices, we are in conversations with New York City agencies. We are in the middle of a pretty exciting collaboration with the American Museum of Natural History. We are working with a center that's run out of our partner Teachers College called Digital Futures Institute. And we're in the process of formalizing an official partnership with them to really leverage and maximize their expertise in the education, management, translation realm, as well as leveraging their ties with like youth activists, climate activists, particularly in New York City. We have an ongoing partnership with Our Future is Science, which is a nationwide program that recruits high school students from low-income, underrepresented communities throughout the country and connects them with scientists and grad students and postdocs, as well as folks in industry and academia, to expose them to the wide world of STEM. And so we've had some of our leapers go over and run some modules and provide some lectures and things like that. So we've got a few fingers out, and this year is when we're really going to start to cement some of these relationships and hopefully turn them into more fruitful collaborations. As we do this and as we continue to outreach to new partners and new connections, our primary goal is to be quiet and listen. I think with industry, it's a little bit different. Like we are the experts in what we do. And so we can go to an industry partner and say, this is what we do. You need what we do. But with community folks, we are finding that as in any other field, folks in the community are on the ground. They know their neighborhood best. They know stuff we definitely don't know and would never know unless we zipped our mouths and listened to them. So we're also engaging in just a wide net of what we're calling the Leap KT listening tour, where we are just making time for folks and they come and they talk at us for an hour and we learn, and then we're going to take that back to our scientists and see if there can be some synergy there.
That's really cool. Yeah, I've heard Pierre talk a lot about that, and I think that's really awesome.
Nicolene, if I'm saying your name correctly.
Yes, that's correct. Hello. And so my question is more to the application, because it says that you should have a recommendation from a professor. And I reached out to one of my professors, but I also did research last summer, which is a little bit related to one of the projects. So I was wondering if a recommendation from the PI from that lab would be better, or if a professor is still preferred.
If you feel that your PI from last summer would, be able to best talk about, your experience and their time with you, I think that's perfectly appropriate.
Okay, thank you.
And just for the prospective applicants, so we do have a couple of our mentors from specific projects on the call. And so if by any chance you have a question for any of them, I'll go back to, these are our teams. A few of them are here. It's okay if you don't have specific questions, that's perfectly fine. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to ask if you have any. Oh, Raymond.
Yeah, sorry, I figured out how to do it. I was curious, more technical question regarding like the teams using ML, like what kind of frameworks, I guess, are used and should we have experience with?
Before the mentors respond, if you just take a look at the project descriptions, they all have a baseline, it lists what you should know. So just make sure you read through all the projects and we call them prerequisites, but skills that could be useful for you to have are listed there. But I'll give the mentors the floor to respond to your question. I can also just call out.
So
Yeah.
I guess I can say just a little bit for ours. So what we are using is we use a little bit of just the very basic fully connected neural network, and we use a bit of Gaussian process. So so within this algorithms, there's a lot you can do about it. So we kind of tweak this and that a little bit to see what works the best. So that's for our project. Yeah. Is that a good?
Yeah, that's super helpful. I was more so like asking just basic stuff like is PyTorch, like TensorFlow? So like what kind of libraries are being used? I guess is a better way of asking.
I say for me, I used a bit of PyTorch and some others. Yeah, I'll leave it to others to answer.
Maybe I can add a little bit. I think like in terms of prerequisite, you're supposed to know just some math that you need to handle the problem. And then if you are familiar with some ML techniques, that's already great. And like the tool that you're gonna use would really depend on the problem. Like you can use any type of generative models or simple feed-forward models, or you can also use other methods like let's say, how do we call them? Symbolic regressions to come up with a simplified equation for the problem. And then in terms of library, I think there is a lot of flexibility. Whatever you have experience with or like you feel more comfortable, you're very welcome to use that.
Joe, I think you were about to say something.
Yeah, I'll just briefly add. I use PyTorch, but I don't think it really matters. Like if someone wants to use TensorFlow, like it doesn't really matter. Whatever tool you're comfortable with, I guess.
And Jerry put into the chat, is there a specific project you were inquiring about? But it didn't really seem like that. And that PyTorch is preferred at the moment, at least for Clemson related data, which is what Jerry and Elliot are working on. But that being said, they value fundamental understanding more than command of syntax, if that's all.
Yeah, very helpful. Thank you.
Yes. Second.
Hi, yep. So, since the question was already asked about more on the technology side of what could be helpful for this program, I was also wondering, with regards to the actual domain knowledge or the different topics that are being tackled in each of these projects, um, I was curious, is there anything the mentors would suggest on how to learn more or how to just get a better understanding of what they're trying to study specifically?
Really quickly before a mentor takes the floor. So once the applications are reviewed and decisions are made, all of the REU students will be connected with the mentor team so that they, know in depth what to expect, what to learn, and what they should prepare in advance. But I will let the mentors respond if they'd like. But did you have a specific project you were asking about, or were you asking about just in general, all the projects?
Oh, okay. I'd say both because it's part in general, part also I'm trying to get a sense of like how to what extent and um like what kind of interest in the actual topics, the patterns and the phenomena the project is about. We should try to tailor our interest, like our response about when we're like identifying the interest.
Um, Again, before the mentors respond if they'd like, the project descriptions that are on the website are very detailed and in depth, and those descriptions came directly from each project lead. And so just make sure that you read through all of them. That should really be helpful. And there are also links to each mentor's bio or website. So you can also read their backgrounds and see where they're coming from. So that should also be helpful. But if a mentor has a response, please take the floor. If not, that's okay.
I think this is so it's gonna evolve because nobody knows everything to the deepest. So I think it's like you can just read and make your decision, and in the end, you might find it more interesting or not. So it's kind of like the future is kind of determined by you, I guess, in a way to put it. That's my own experience.
Sarah?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that you're not supposed to know the science at the very high level or like all the details. But you have to be curious and motivated to learn about it in the period like over the summer. And there are some specific topics that if you know there's advantages. For example, if you have some knowledge about what is the idea behind modeling or how a climate model or a weather model work, like really in a general way, not that much of detail. If you know something about weather, climate, that would be very helpful. So that's about the physical part of the problem. And then in the technical part, if you know about machine learning, that's also very advantageous.
Thank you. Did you have another question?
Oh, that's really helpful. And I also, yeah, as far as another question, I saw on the website that under the education section of LEAP, there's a climate data science certificate, which, and there seemed to be a line mentioning that for students that involved in LEAP during the summer, like that could be a possible pathway. I was just really curious about that.
So I have to go back to the website to see what you're talking about. But so we do have our going back to the Momentum Bootcamp. And so the content that's covered in the Momentum Bootcamp, there are different versions of the bootcamp. We also have a winter version, which is condensed for 2 days. And that one in particular is meant for graduate students, faculty, industry professionals. And so upon completion of the 2-day bootcamp, they received a certificate of completion. And that will also be the case for you here for the bootcamp. I will also note that the bootcamp for the 2-week bootcamp this summer is not limited to just REU students. So if you do not get, if you're unable to join an REU project, but you still want to learn and take the bootcamp and get a certificate, the bootcamp will be open to all undergraduate students on Zoom. And just going back to the website. And the certificate and fellowship program information on the website is actually not up to date. But it just is, we have a couple of courses that are given at our LEAP institutions that are able to either be audited or taken for credit, depending on whether you're a graduate student or most of our courses are at the graduate level. And so that is kind of, I'm not sure if it's possible for someone like an undergraduate student to take the course and, for a certificate, but we definitely will be issuing certificates of completion for the Momentum Bootcamp.
Okay, thank you.
And just so that the people in the recording can also hear, but Jerry wrote, "My understanding is this is meant as a learning experience for undergraduates. But speaking for myself, we would be particularly excited about candidates with a strong statistics and/or math background. However, everyone comes with their own strengths, and you should not disqualify yourself if you are willing to learn quickly." And I think that's very well put. Thank you. I think that applies to all of our projects. You really need to have a willingness to learn, and be curious and open to new experiences. And whether that is you already have experience, or you already have a knowledge, or you don't, we do encourage you to apply, and do not disqualify yourself. A lot of people have the tendency to do that, particularly students from marginalized backgrounds, but we really hope that you feel, confident in your skills. And even if you don't now, we encourage you to apply, and we will make sure that you feel confident before you start your research. Okay. Any other questions? Well, if you have any questions, I stopped sharing my screen, but you can email leap@columbia.edu with any questions, and we'll be sure to get back to you. Applications are due on March 10th, along with recommendation letters, but I know that, faculty are busy, and so it might take some more time, and that's okay. We just ask you to submit their name, and I'll reach out to them if I haven't received a letter in time. Raymond, another question.
Yeah, sorry, I literally just thought of this. I was reading through the project descriptions for Project 4 specifically, and I noticed in the helpful skills to have, it said background in machine learning models, particular transformers. I was just curious, like in what capacity are transformers being applied to what's happening for this particular project?
And Joe, project 4 is understanding ice crystal growth and evolution in the atmosphere.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't realize that was project 4, but yeah, so that description was kind of intentionally broad, and that was just put out there as an example because there's lots of different paths we could go with our project. So don't take that as like a necessity, but that was just thrown as an example. Um, but our project in particular, we're kind of open to, especially like what the student interests are. So it's not going to be something where we dictate like you're going to do this, but we'll have a conversation about what direction, like for example, the student wants to go with the available data and the types of questions they want to pursue.
Thanks, Joe. Any other questions before we hop off? No? Lovely. Okay. Well, again, you know how to reach us, leap@columbia.edu. And thank you for joining us. I will send the recording for this as well to everyone who's registered. So everyone here should also get it. Thank you to the mentors for joining us. We really appreciate it. Bye.